Peace after divorce doesn't come from winning arguments. It comes from learning when not to have them. If you've ever dealt with a toxic or high-conflict ex, the kind who turns every text into a battle, every drop-off into drama, every conversation into chaos, then you already know your freedom isn't just legal, it's emotional. And today, we're going to talk about how to protect that freedom, how to set firm, healthy boundaries with a toxic or high-conflict ex, and finally reclaim your mental peace. Because the truth is, you can't change them, but you can change the way you respond to them. And that changes everything. Understanding toxic patterns. Let's start here. A toxic or high-conflict ex thrives on reaction. They feed off chaos. They love pulling you back into emotional arguments because that's how they stay connected, through conflict. They'll twist your words. They'll bring up the past. They'll make you feel guilty or defensive. And before you know it, you're right back in the same cycle, angry, drained, and questioning your sanity. You can't control their behavior, but you can control access to you. That's what boundaries are. They're not walls. They're gates. You decide who gets in, how far, and on what terms. The emotional trap you must avoid. Every time you respond emotionally, they win. Because emotional engagement, even anger, is attention. That's why toxic exes love to bait you. They'll send passive-aggressive texts like, "Oh, I guess you're too busy being the perfect parent now," or "I'm glad I broke up with you." These aren't invitations to communicate, they're traps. So here's your rule: don't feed the conflict. When you argue with a toxic person, you're wrestling with someone who enjoys the mud. You both get dirty, but they like it. Communicating with the BIFF method. If you've never heard of the BIFF method, this is your new superpower. It stands for brief, informative, friendly, and firm. It's a communication strategy designed specifically for dealing with high conflict personalities, especially in co-parenting. Let's break it down. Brief. Keep your messages short and to the point. No long explanations or justifications. Example, "Thanks for letting me know. I'll pick the kids up at 5. Informative. Stick to facts, not feelings. Example, "The doctor's appointment is confirmed for Thursday at 3. Friendly. Stay polite and neutral. It keeps you in control. Example, "Hope your week is going well." Firm. End the conversation when you've said what's needed. Example, "That's my final decision on the schedule." BIFF is powerful because it gives them nothing to twist. No emotion, no energy, no chaos to feed on. You become a calm mirror, not a spark in their fire. Setting boundaries that actually work. Now let's get practical. Boundaries only work when you're clear, consistent, and ready to enforce them. Here are the most important ones to start with. 1. Communication boundaries. Only communicate through text or email. Never impulsively respond to calls or late-night messages. If they call to provoke, don't pick up. You're not ignoring them. You're protecting your peace. Set specific times when you'll check messages. That way, their chaos doesn't hijack your day. 2. Emotional boundaries. You don't need to explain or defend yourself anymore. Their opinion of you is not your responsibility. When they insult you, remember, that's a reflection of their emotional immaturity, not your worth. Let them have the last word if it gives them peace, because your silence is power. 3. Parenting boundaries. Keep co-parenting businesslike. Talk only about the kids, logistics, and necessary plans. If they bring up personal topics, don't engage. Redirect to what matters. For example, "I'm not discussing our past. Let's focus on the kids' schedule." Every time you stay on topic, you're training them to see you as emotionally unavailable for conflict. Protecting your mental peace. Toxic people don't just drain your energy, they rent space in your head. They replay arguments, spark self-doubt, and keep you emotionally on edge. That's why mental boundaries are just as important as practical ones. Here's how to protect your peace daily. Don't overthink their messages. Read once, respond with BIFF, move on. Don't stalk their social media. Curiosity only reopens wounds. Practice detachment. You can care about your kids without caring about your ex's drama. Therapy, journaling, or support groups can help you untangle the emotional web they left behind. Peace isn't built overnight. It's rebuilt choice by choice. When they don't respect your boundaries, here's the hard truth. Toxic people don't respect boundaries, they test them. That's why you have to stay consistent even when it's uncomfortable. If they break your boundaries once and you give in, they'll know your limits are negotiable. But when you stay calm and consistent, they eventually learn the old buttons don't work anymore. And when that happens, they lose interest because your peace is no longer accessible to them. Reclaiming your power. Let's be real. Co-parenting with a toxic ex is not easy. It takes strength, patience, and emotional maturity. But here's the beautiful part. Every time you choose peace over chaos, you're teaching your children something profound: how to protect their own energy. You're modeling strength. You're showing them that love doesn't mean tolerating abuse, and that boundaries aren't barriers, they're acts of self-respect. You may not have chosen the chaos that came with your divorce, but you do get to choose what comes next. You get to choose peace. The emotional closing. If you're listening to this and thinking, but I've tried setting boundaries and it never works, take a breath. Boundaries aren't about changing them. They're about changing you, your energy, your reactions, your peace. You can't control the storm, but you can control your umbrella. So from now on, protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. You've survived the worst already: the confusion, the heartbreak, the manipulation. Now it's time to live differently, not reactively, but intentionally. Closing message. If this convo speaks to you, remember, you are not crazy. You are not weak. You are healing from someone who thrived on chaos. And healing takes time, strength, and boundaries. Share in the comments, what's one boundary you're struggling to set right now? Let's support each other, one peaceful step at a time.